just,
Right.
y'all will be proud of me.
If I can squoze it in.
Right, let me squoze it in my other shows.
Y'all will be proud of me. Guess what? She watched RuPaul's Drag Race. I watched the first episode.
It was a good episode.
Yeah.
So, I mean, shall we break down what we saw? I mean,
I feel like I can talk about something now.
Hey, welcome to the RuPaul Drag Race.
First question first.
Yeah.
What prompted you to watch it? Because
oh, really? We talked about it enough that you're like,
look at her listening to her elders. Come on now.
No, honestly, the conversation last week when y'all were talking about how like there would be a cis straight man on the season, I literally told you I was like, I'm gonna watch it because I want to figure out who this person is. I don't think they were in that first group.
They were not.
You know they're gonna hold on to that.
I don't think they were in the first, but let me tell you, she was looking though. I was like,
the one episode she watched, and the whole reason she watches for the cisgender man,
and
he wasn't even there.
Him not there.
Like, it's just next week.
I think this season is gonna be a killer season based off the first 7 queens. Like Willow Pill. Yeah. Watch out for Willow Pill.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm telling y'all, watch out for Willow.
I ain't gonna lie, I died at her, like, what was the talent?
Yeah. It took me all the way out.
It took me all the way out.
Every face was like, what? And when she, like, it was cool when she brought out the spaghetti. It was cool when, like, you know, she was
it
like
was cool from
the meatball.
the song choice.
When that
but when that toaster came out,
I was like, Willow, you just gave you a fan, bitch. Like I was all the way there.
That was the part that got me. I was like, okay, yes, I'm here for this. But I feel like because she hasn't been doing it that long. I feel like she's still a little rough around the edges because I don't feel like her look that night looked good. She looked very Kermit the Frog. I was like, it did not look.
You mean her entrance look, or you meant the look?
Both of them, girl. First of all, but her entrance look was very white chicks. And Cornbread would not let that
loved it.
Cornbread's my other favorite. Yeah.
I love Cornbread. But
we got to have a whole conversation about Cornbread. So
I forgot what she said, but she said something like, "Oh, you got that."
She said, "You and them flip flops."
You and them flip flops.
Like, you going to the beach?
We going to the beach with her flip flops.
I'm like, yeah, Cornbread. But I didn't get Willow from the entrance look. I was like, okay, I'm not quite getting it. But then the second she came out and did her perform, I was like, oh, I got you, bitch. And then even when she came with her runway outfit, I was like, I got you. I got your number.
I got her from Jump Street.
Yeah.
I really did. Because even her promo look, she has this kind of like strawberry shortcake kind of like vibe with like the little like purple, I don't forget what they were, clouds or some shit like that or whatever. But she looked like freckles. Yeah, like, and then when you saw like what she looked like out of drag, it's like, okay, you know how to paint.
Yeah,
you know how to paint.
Yeah.
And when she showed up dressed like Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie in The Simple Life,
yes,
I was like, this bitch knows exactly what the fuck she's doing. She didn't show up like happenstance dressing like Drag Race season 1, you know, know, with like pedestrian drag. No, she intentionally showed up that way, and it was a good strategy because everybody did underestimate her,
and everybody was talking about her.
Yeah, right, absolutely.
And when she did her like her performance.
They're like, oh,
and they were just like,
they're like, oh shit, we got
what
one.
Are we watching here?
Because this is where I kind of am at with RuPaul's Drag Race. I'm kind of personally tired of the aesthetic of the Instagram pretty face. Like everybody's doing that now. Like the makeup tutorial face. Like you almost have lost drag. There's like no perspective on it. There's no. Like just little something that's just a little different than what you've seen before. So that's why I'm like, okay, Willow, I got your number now. I like the diversity of it. I like the rawness of it. I like the pretty because clearly she know how to paint. So I'm like, okay, she gonna give me the well-roundedness that I need from a drag queen, not just a pretty face, a cute outfit. Everybody could buy a cute outfit nowadays.
I think my thing with her is like, I think she's the type of performer that drag like. performer I would like to see in person.
Yeah,
I feel like she's going. I think she'll do great this season. But I think one of the things that truly make her like stand out is that she's one of the people that you see live and you'll be like, bitch, give her all the coins. Because even like doing that talent, I was just like, I would die watching that in real life. Like, because I was on the couch just laughing and tears, being like, because I was just so shook. I was like, wait, what the fuck just happened? I was like, what?
The only thing that I fear, so I want to make 2 points. One, in my opinion, part of the drag stratosphere, of like what it means to be drag is to be an anarchist. You're supposed to, it's counterculture. And so I think what you were saying, Kerel, in terms of like how commercialized it's become, where it's become more about the look queens more than about people bringing something interesting, different, that's making you think. And we got used to that. So I think having performance art, and I don't even want to do air quotes, having performance art, which was her talent, having that performance art was so refreshing to see, because it wasn't just another lip sync or like somebody doing jumping rope.
Although, but that jumping, okay, don't.
I'm not hating. I'm not hating, but I'm just saying.
I'm just not hating, but I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
Willow seems like she would be at like Vauxhall Tavern in London. Like, who's ever been to London, there's a gay bar in London, and it's just like quirky drag, it's quirky performances. And I was like, that's where Willow's lane is, and I'm all the way here for it.
So my second point is my fear is that I wonder how she will perform in the other challenges that are more focused on other things, because one of the things that I wonder is how is she at lip syncing? Like, what does her lip sync technique look like from a performance perspective?
That's true.
How would she show up in a comedy challenge? How would she show up when she has to write her own lyrics? Like all these other kind of things. So I just wonder if her creativity will then translate into those other areas, because she's dealing with some dark demons and a lot of health ailments and things like that. But we had another queen, Evie Oddly, who had a very similar backstory, who was also this like person's friends. Their drag mom. So I hope, fingers crossed, that we're able to see more of like that creativity and like that punchiness, that kind of like what Lady Gaga did in the music industry, bringing performance art into pop art. I hope that she has a little bit more longevity and can translate that.
We'll see. But Cornbread is funny as hell too, though. Cornbread's my other favorite. Cornbread. I love it. Cornbread's a fucking star. Like,
she is 100%.
And the period. Like, she can walk into any room, in drag, out of drag. You can be like, I like this bitch.
I think if Cornbread doesn't get in her own way, meaning get in her own head, she could win this. She could be the first big girl to actually win this, and not like a pity, like, you're good at lip syncing, but that's all you're good at, i.e. I won't say any names, but
say their names.
But I genuinely feel like if she doesn't get in her own way, she can win this entire thing. Her looks are amazing. Her intelligence is on point. Her comedic timing is incredible. Her sense of owning who she is as a big, beautiful, black, melanated, gorgeous, ball-headed, girl. Like, when she came out in them like those George shooting, those like Daisy open booty shorts, like I said, take all my money.
Was a box.
And it was.
I want me a chicken wing necklace so bad. I paused it. I was like, Corey, all I want for my birthday is a chicken wing necklace this year. I want one so bad. I tweeted it on Minority Report. I was like, I want a chicken wing necklace. But that's that little shit of attention to detail that's fucking great. That costs probably like $1 to do. It doesn't have to be some big ass like designer moment. No, that's what drag needs to kind of get back to. At least what I enjoy about drag. Yes, I love the look queens because I be watching the makeup tutorials daily. But I just need a slightly different perspective now. And the last few years of Drag Race has kind of just been this siloed look queen.
I love like when black drag queens celebrate their blackness as part of their drag, because the difference that I saw between her and I forget what the other queen's name was,
Jambalaya Rice or something like that.
Jambalaya Rice, who did the praise dancing and the African dance and whatnot, which was cute and all. But like to me that felt more like a gimmick versus what Cornbread has been consistent in that one episode in doing, is just showing up as herself.
Yeah.
She gave me Insecure.
Kelly.
What's her name? Kelly vibes. Mm-hmm. She gave me Kelly vibes. Like she shows up ready, stealing the show, stealing the light.
I know what her only knock that they're going to give her this season, and it's going to come from the show, is her proportions are weird. Like she has a very short torso. And so when she does go bald, it does kind of squish her down. And I know that's what Michelle Visage is going to say the entire season. So it's going to get fucking old. And I'm like, shut up, Michelle. But it's going to be interesting to see the different looks and wigs and how she could play with her proportion. Because for some reason, Michelle's very a stickler on that.
Isn't that what she called her out on her runway look?
Yeah. She needed height. And she did, because
she did.
Girl, you threw a napkin on you threw a chain napkin on your head that you needed to do better than that. That I wasn't happy about that. I was like, girl, you really thought this through? This was not giving Grace Jones. This was like, no, this was not Jackson. Grace Jones.
The next door neighbor.
Right.
And I'm trying to think anyone else. Like the girl that got voted off, she was from Michigan, so I was like, "Oh, come on, Grand Rapids," because it's hard to see small town.
But here's the thing: only people in the Midwest would understand that talent. They would only understand, because I thought it was funny. I was like, I get it.
But it was very Michigan, like Midwest humor. I was like, damn, that ain't gonna
absolutely.
Cut it.
Yeah,
I was very disappointed that she. I was disappointed that she left, because I can tell just by her own like drag that she has a very interesting perspective. And I was sad that we didn't get to see it. Whereas Jambalaya, I think she certainly outperformed her in the lip sync for sure. But
I don't think she knows who she is yet. I don't think Jambalaya knows who she is yet as a drag.
I don't think so either. And honestly, like, because I'm always rooting for everybody black first over everybody else. But when I knew she was going to be in the bottom, I didn't like her, what y'all call it, the intro look, right?
The entrance look.
Yeah,
I didn't like that either.
And she thought she was going to get by because it was designer. It's like, bitch, no, it was ill-fitted for your body type.
No, it did not look good.
I mean, just the straps going all the way over here.
Yeah.
And then your titties all the way up. It's like,
no. She's like, this is whoever it was. No. I was like, oh, God, you just...
I think she's probably someone that just... in a couple years, will be fantastic.
She'll come back on All-Star season like 10, and you're like, oh, that's that bitch now.
Right. I think this will be something that she will learn from, and then be like, okay, now I know how to serve a bitch. Yeah. You know? I think in her mind, I think she wants to. She has a mentality for it. It's the execution I don't think that she's going to go far for.
Yeah. Well, you hit the nail on the head there, because like when you looked at her performance when she did her talent, which was the like the African dancing and whatnot, and she had her headband was falling in her face the entire time. It's like you didn't stress test this look.
Period. Like, bitch, I be doing like first day of school clothing like a week ahead, and every day is like, okay, can I squat? Can I not? Can I write? Can I?
Because
bitch,
look,
like, you gotta
it wasn't like she was just standing there doing poetry. She was doing like flips and like she was doing African dance, so her whole body was moving. It would have looked better if we could have seen her face.
And that's just little shit like that. That you could tell she must not be in the drag scene, either like she's fairly new still, or isn't out there as much, or maybe doesn't do that part of herself in a club, because that's little shit that you learn along the way. You're like, oh shit, I ain't wearing that headband no more last week because I was at wherever bar last night, that shit kept on falling up. That's just little shit.
this also helps you to identify, and I know we given a whole damn episode on Drag Race, damn. But this does give you a sense for kind of like this new guard of queens that are more focused on the look and not focused on the performance, and or looking at the whole package. Like there are some. There were a lot of queens. I forget I forget all their names, but like the queen that had like the horns that coming out of her tits and they coming out of her head. Yeah. Like that's
she's from Seattle.
Thank you. So so she understands how to marry a look with serving up a performance. Yes. And I don't think Jambalaya.
Yeah. We gotta find out her real name. We don't know what her real name is.
I mean, that's what she called herself. So Jambalaya, Creole. That's what Creole. Come on, Creole, Alabama. That's what Jambalaya, I think, what she's missing. And you have a lot of and let's be clear, with all the drag races that have been out, this show has been out for what, 14 years now. So easily. They didn't capture the kind of like upper echelon of the queens that have been out here doing it for a minute, who have that industry, like experience, etc. So now they're bringing in these queens that have been doing it for
Drag Race.
3 years, right? 3 years, 5 years, and a lot of them are amazing. But the immaturity shows.
You got to still cut your teeth. You still got to put that work in, whatever it is. Even though social media makes it a little easier to gain the following and things like that, you still had to put that work in, because that you get on a show of this scale, that's where you see it with your thing falling in your face. Where something else, that's where you start. You're like,
And I appreciate. Go ahead. Really quickly, I appreciated Michelle Visage's harsh critiques for the first episode, because Jerrell, you might not know because you don't watch, but she usually does like a softball kind of thing. Yeah. But she got really in, and I love the fact that it was only 7 of them, so it's half of them. So she was really able to like dig in, and I hope she keeps that same energy, because at this stage of the game, this show done been out for 14 years. There ain't no goddamn excuse. If you do a reel, I don't care if you started drag last week. If you do a reel and then you got selected to be on this show, you better come with your A game or. I'm
stay hoping your ass home.
No, let Michelle eat that ass up. Eat that. Go home crying like old girl did, girl did this past episode. I didn't get to show the stuff I wanted to, but you should have showed up.
You should have showed your ass then.
And that's what I love that you're doing, Jerrell. Like transition really quickly, like with your job and like going into this year, you are betting on yourself, and I love that for you.
Thanks, boo. I mean, speaking of drag though, like, okay, so let me tell y'all, we watched one episode. And then we watched that whole season of Queen of the Universe.
Oh, see, I haven't watched it yet. That's on my list too.
How was it? I watched 2 episodes, and I'm not into singing shows. So.
I thought it was cool.
That told me.
Here's the thing, because I'm not big into drag. That's why I'm gonna say cool. Yeah. I love singing competitions. I love hearing people sing. And I think that was my favorite part of it. Like, I understand drag, but I love a queen that can sing. Like, I will happily throw money at a queen that sings before anything else, just because singing is a true talent. It's a true talent. That is not something that someone else can just pretend to do. Yeah, you either you can or you can't. Yeah, and a few of the people could sing. I don't think they necessarily found really good talent, if I'm being honest. Yeah. I think
that black chick from Chicago is like pretty talented.
She was okay.
Okay, see, I only saw the first 2 episodes. So
the girl from Atlanta was better. The girl from Atlanta was way better. Okay. She was way better. Okay. And she gave me like 80, 75. She gave you like the Donna Summers like era of music. Like her voice fits that perfectly. Like I was always transcended to like old school music. Yeah. So I rocked with her.
Like Anita Baker.
Yeah, you beat me to it. You said old school. I was gonna say like old school music, like Tinashe and
I'm talking about more like Christina Milian. More old school.
I got you, dude.
Samantha Mumba, you know.
Right. Some Cassie, you know. But no, honestly, I really like that fact about it. And yeah, no, it was cool. And honestly, the judges were like, they were cussing, you know, it's because it was an adult show. Like, so, you know, and Michelle Visage was actually harsh on there. So that's my intro to her. I was like, damn, bitch, you were talking about like, why can I see your black Spanx underneath that brown leather?
She is very
right. Yes,
about that.
I love that.
Yeah. And I was like,
call them out.
Oh, goddamn.
And we got Mama Rue's new album and new songs on there too. Come on, Rue. She will put in her songs, bitch.
When Mama Rue rolled out there in a wheelchair, practically.
Mariah Carey style, like.
Right, I'm like, but at least Mariah Carey sing on them tracks. Damn, like she become that there, like
the Mama Rue. I listened to the Mama Rue album this week. It's actually kind of good. I was like,
I'll listen to it as I watch the season.
Right, it's like
she be throwing every episode be another one of her songs.
Let's do that. I'm going to commit to watching this season. And we'll be able to talk about it.
Absolutely.
Okay. This would be the continuation of Insecure has transitioned into the world of drag.
Some show. I'm still mourning Insecure ain't here.
And people in the community, if y'all still listening, because I know we talked about drag for a long time. Woo! If y'all still listening, come on this journey with me.
Absolutely.
And then y'all and I can go in with y'all and be like, bitch, I don't like this. Because I know, because your aunties over here, they gonna be talking about like things they seen several seasons. So if you knew like I want to have those conversations too. You know, when somebody don't know shit about drag, like I don't know shit about drag. Otherwise, I'll be in lesson with you every episode, just listening to my aunties.
But it's gonna be interesting to see your perspective because like seeing it for so long, like we just know the rhythm of the show at this point. It's the same thing every year. So it'll be interesting to see what you see and pick out versus like what we might at this point almost overlook because it's always there in a way.
And even from your competitive background, you know, in terms of like coaching and cheerleading, et cetera, and like understanding like that whole thing, I think it'd be interesting to get your perspective on like how these shows are shaking out.
Yeah. I'm in. Okay.